They're kind of beat up, missing some of the pieces. And this one's missing some of the pieces. But we put up my grapevines. Something we didn't do last year. I see one's hanging down. It needs to be refastened. As you can see, I like wind chimes. And I like hummingbirds. And I guess dragonflies. Bird feeders. Squirrel feeders. Flowers. Plants in my window boxes. These are artificial plants. As you can see. Plastic. But they stay green, and I don't have to worry about them dying if we go on a trip. These only come from the Dollar Tree. But when you buy so many of them, it was still pretty expensive. This leaf got tore off. Didn't stay glued on. And obviously I like my garden flags. So when we go camping, I got some for the camper. I not only put them up at home, I put them up around my camper. And I also like solar lights. The black ones flicker like flames. I think Tim got me my flower gnome from like Mother's Day. And we have garden hooks for our coconut baskets. But we haven't begun to do the coconut baskets yet. We got hooks all over the property to hang them up. These daylilies I've had for I don't even know how long. I might even had them on at our townhouse in Bowie. I'm not sure. And we planted evergreen trees to give a line of sight, a little privacy. This started out as a tree about this big. I found it in the lawn, and I transplanted it and put a little fence around it, and look how big it's gotten. In fact, we've had tree trimmers come out and take some bottom limbs off of it. And I always talk about my trees every video I make. But look, I want to say shout out to my kids. See this tree right here? This is a oak tree. And when they gave it to me, it was just a stick. Had no leaves on it, nothing. And they had it wrapped up with paper towels and plastic wrap on the roots to keep them moist. And they gave me this tree, and look. My kids gave me this. Look at this tree. They're really slow growing. It took forever for it to even leaf out. And I think we moved it. I think it used to be up here. And we moved it back here, but I'm not sure about that. Again, this is a tree that we found. It's a tulip tree. We used to have two of them. One was here, and one was here, where this spot is right there, and we had it cut, and we got rid of it. And then back here, when we bought this house, there was a pine tree, and we had a really bad ice storm, and the limbs got just coated with ice, and it bent over and snapped off. And then over there were 3 trees in a row, and they had some kind of berry tree. They weren't that big. They were probably even smaller than this one here. And yeah, we cut those down too, because berries are annoying. So that's the history of the trees in our yard, in the backyard. There were some other trees. There was a tree up by the house somewhere up there, and we cut it down because it was so close to the house. And then I built a fire on the stump and dug around it and made a hole around the stump, and I just kept adding wood to it and adding wood to it, and we burned the stump out of the ground. But there was a tree there. There was a tree there, these 3 here, and then the evergreen back here, and pretty much no shade. So look at all the shade. In fact, it got too shaded in our yard, and our one particularly wet spring, in summer it got swampy. So I have a whole bunch of these baskets, and I got a whole bunch of these coconut things, but they're kind of shabby looking and old, and there might be some more baskets in here. I don't know where he put them. Yeah, there they are. See, I gotta, anybody need some baskets? I got baskets. If you don't buy them, just message me, because we travel a lot, and I don't know if we're gonna use them all and utilize them all. But this originally was supposed to be a screen room, so all this was surrounded by screen. And then I had furniture down here, and this end was going to be where we could sit around a table and maybe play games. But yeah, the front here had a porch and steps. This was all covered, but look at this. Look at the roof. It is in bad shape. We need to take the roof off of here, so you can see the shingles right there, because the wood is rotted. It got wet. But we're old, and getting up on there and pulling up the roof and being up in the air like that, I don't know. We might be too old for that nonsense. I got Tim a sign. Tim's shop. Oh man, look at the ants. See the trail of ants? I can see them. Ooh, bugs. This is a window. We was going to cut a hole in the bathroom wall to the outside, and we was going to install this window so we could open it. Slides back and forth. I don't even think we were going to do it at this house. I think we were going to do it at the other house. But so this window is probably 25 years old or older. So when the screen started to fall down and get holes in it, and it was no longer keeping the bugs out, and stuff was starting to rot, we took the screen out, we put walls up, and we turned this into a shed. Trying to close this with one hand. There we go. Here's another one of the signs. I like metal signs too. I got things that I like, and I like metal signs. So Tim's got metal signs because I like metal signs. This is the other shed that we have, and again, I'm pretty sure it's got plastic roof panels. You buy those at Home Depot, and they're cracked and broken and fallen in, so this roof is all in bad shape. He had to replace this floor here. It was all rotted out. That was fun. But you can see the roof here. Same thing. It's rotted. We need to redo this roof too. But this shed used to be over there where the camper is, and it used to be only half the size. So when we decided to put it back here, we disassembled it, used all the same parts, and moved it back here. And we rebuilt it back here. This shed used to be all closed in. Used to have a porch in the front here. And there was a door here, and you can see this is a piece of plexiglass that we had from, I think, a storm door. And we kept it and used it for a window to let light into the shed. And so, yeah. And then I asked him to make me these birdhouses. And I don't know. That one looks like it's got stuff inside of it. It might be just full of wasps. You're supposed to make it to where you can open it up either at the top or at the bottom, and then you clean it out after the season. Every season you're supposed to clean them out. Yeah. Well, there's no way to open them up except to take them apart. So we don't clean them out. So who knows what's inside these things. But I like them because they're colorful. There's one over there. There's one on the ground. That might be my first one that he built. Little birdhouse, is that more of a bird feeder thing? That's our yard, decorated for the summer. What else is new? Let's see. As you can see, more birdhouses here. The RV door is open. I think I just saw a cat run across her yard. And I got the door open because we got this yesterday. See the topper on the bed? He says it takes like 48 hours to air out. And one of the complaints about mattresses on Amazon is they have a real strong chemical smell. It smells fine to me. Close up the windows. So we're letting it air out. And yeah. That's me laying on the mattress. Ta-da! Yeah, it's all right. My suggestion was to use all the memory foam that we have. So, as you can see, over there, we have more memory foam. Ugh. But these pieces are narrow, and we was using them on our last trip. And since there was two pieces, they would, there's the seam that goes down the middle. It's just fine. They worked. So I'm thinking about putting them back on the bed. We can put them under this piece here. And then the seam will be underneath. But we got an appointment. I think it's tomorrow. Ugh, you can't slide on memory foam. It's like made out of rubbery stuff. When we were on our trip last time, this is an sink is undermounted, and this material that the countertop is made out of is real. It's a super cheap material, and I don't know that they caulked around the edge of the sink. See, we've done it, and it looks really sloppy because we had to use so much because there was still a good 1/4 inch gap. In fact, there might still be a gap right here, it looks like. I don't know. But water got up under there. You know, it's a sink. And no matter how careful you are, especially when there's a ledge right here, so the water would get on the ledge and it would go up, and it just slowly rotted out the countertop material. And so, and the the screws that were holding it on were, I guess, close to the edge, so they got loose, and the sink started to sag, and the gap that was here was getting bigger and bigger, and water was going under there. And eventually, it wouldn't even, the screws would no longer hold up the sink. So we called an RV repair guy, and he came out. He did, I think these screws, he did have screws. This is the only kind he had. And then Tim, we had 1x1s, little strips of 1x1. So he used our wood. I thought he used our, what do you call it? Our power drill, but he didn't. Tim said he did have a drill. But you can see he put boards underneath the lip, and then he ran those bolts through to hold the sink, in place. And here's that area. So we got an appointment, and I think we're going to take this. You can see the little teeny tiny things there. That's all that was holding that up there. And yeah, when they got wet, and this is like particle board stuff. It just dissolves when it gets wet. And yeah, the sink was falling apart. So we got an appointment tomorrow to take it to Camping World, yeah, in Ashland, and they're going to take pictures of it, I guess, and send a report to the manufacturer because it's warranted, and then wait for the manufacturer to contact them back and say, yes, we will cover the work, and like yada yada yada. Tim also took this panel out, which just covers this hole. So there was no space here because this board was up against, but he took it out so he could use this space here for storage, which, I guess he could set something in there. I don't know. But he also, when you winterize it, you have to be able to get in there and access all this stuff. And he put this thing here. We have one here, and we have one in the bathroom where the pipes are, in case there's ever a leak here. This will detect water, supposedly, and set off an alarm. And so he put that in there. But this, unfortunately, this doesn't look very pretty, doing that. And this is the storage area under the sink. And I think this is where we put a tote here, and we put canned goods here. And then this stuff that's sitting here on the floor actually sits on top of the tote and the canned goods. And I think this is part of the area we keep our pots and pans. I didn't mean to make a video about RV stuff. I just happened to do it. Because once I get yakking on my camera, I just continue to yak, and then I make a ridiculously long video. But now I got to do something different. I got to get off the floor. So yeah, that's not going to be a pretty sight. So this is going to be the end of my video, because I'm not going to videotape me grunting and groaning and trying to get off the floor. Nope, not going to do it.